Hi, welcome back to my channel. This video is a video called Why Be Vegan, and I've actually done this video a couple years ago, and I wanted to redo this video for quite some time now because I just feel like my filming style has changed, and also I just have even more research. I have a certificate in plant-based nutrition now, so I feel like I know even more, which helps reinforce the same views that I had before. So if you want, you can take a look back at that video. I still believe 100% in all the reasons that I did back then to become vegan. This is just a little bit more information that I've learned along the way. And also, if you want to see the most hateful comments that I've ever received on my channel, go check out that video just to get a laugh and see the arguments that ensue below. Okay, let's get started. When I first became vegan, for me, the thing that really drew me to veganism, to a plant-based lifestyle, was health. I was not aware of the animal cruelty at the time. I didn't connect the two together and the ethics of it, but health was something that I found really important. I was really interested in detoxing my body and a lot of prevention and different kinds of ways, natural ways to care for the body that would lead to disease prevention and a healthy long life. So for me, that's the first angle that I came into veganism, but there is so much more that I've learned along the way. And we're at a place in our society now, it is something that is truly impacting our environment and everybody around the world. The state of health in our world right now is so upside down. Things have progressed so rapidly within the last 100 years that we've become such an industrialized world that there have become so many problems health-wise and environmentally that are really created by man, and they weren't really there beforehand. As far as some statistics go, these are very shocking, and so I wanted to share them with you. Cancer diagnosis will surge from 14 million annually to 22 million annually in the next 2 decades. Healthcare, as a percentage of the GDP, has grown from 5% to 17% in the last 50 years. That means more and more people are getting sick, more and more people need the aid of healthcare to just get by. In 2016, 715,000 people had a heart attack. 50% of the Chinese population now has pre-diabetes because it has been exposed to what we call the standard American diet, and anywhere a nation is kind of growing in affluence, they are getting these diseases of affluence. Through a lot of different research and different studies, it has shown time and time again that whether it be genetic or whether it be an environmental influence, cancer, heart disease, diabetes can be helped, improved, and even reversed with what we put into our bodies on a daily basis. The next thing I want to talk about is environmental consequences of this huge industry, this food industry that has just boomed over the last century. The impact of food production on the environment and modern food production stresses our environment and presents a barrier to our long-term ability to feed a global population. The ideal, and what it used to be all the time, is that small farms in local communities fed the people that lived on the farm as well as the neighbors. Everybody would share or barter or trade. It was not this mass food production situation going on. Everybody ate what they had locally, they ate what was in season. The mass meat production, so think chicken, any kind of poultry, beef, milk, eggs, this mass animal food production is causing a huge problem with our water supply all throughout the world. Our water supply through animal waste and our air through greenhouse gas emissions is all being contaminated. There's an increased fertilizer used to grow crops to feed the animals that increases the amount of chemicals and nitrogen in our water supply. And also, in addition to just that alone, we're talking about new things like GMOs, which have crept up, which are very unclear right now, but seem to be extremely harmful. They're using as much chemicals as possible to spray crops and plants to make them grow faster, grow bigger, grow prettier, and yet the nutritional density in the fruits and vegetables that are being mass produced is not the same as it used to be. The cows, the chickens, the eggs, the milk is shot up with hormones to make the poor animals grow faster and faster to produce more and more. So because there's so many places where there is meat production and animal factory farming, there's something called nutrient pollution, and that's a process where there are just too many nutrients, mainly nitrogen and phosphorus, and they're added to bodies of water such as streams, rivers, oceans, lakes, and they can act like a fertilizer, which actually causes excess algae to grow And this growth actually blocks sunlight and ultimately lowers the level of oxygen, creating an environmental problem for our sea life and our fish and our turtles and anything that lives in the sea. So a dead zone is an oxygen deprived area of ocean water where it basically creates a place where there's no oxygen for the animals to breathe. If you look online, you can Google dead zones. You will see the shocking amount of area around our world and where the most meat is produced, and see the effect that it is having on our environment. I read somewhere that by 2048, we will have a fishless ocean. There's factory fishing, there's factory farming for animals on land and on sea. We're seriously running out of food, and this kind of problem is something that will deeply affect how we're able to feed everybody in the world at a certain point. At a certain point, we will run out of food if we do not change our behavior. But the good news is that by going vegan, that is a way that you can really turn things around for not only yourself, not only for your family, but for the entire world. If you were to change or replace 50% of the animal products that you eat on a daily basis with legumes, nuts, tubers, it would result in a 30% reduction of individual food-related water footprint. So that would really be helping the dead zones. Going vegetarian would reduce your footprint by 60%. And of course, going vegan would be the absolute best. You're reducing your footprint by large leaps and bounds, and there's so many wonderful things to eat. You would never miss using animal products. Now, when you become vegan, people will often ask, where do you get your protein? And so I want to address this issue as well. The funny thing is, we do not need nearly as much protein as the mass media projects today. That is something that was never a thing, and you didn't even hear about needing so much protein until the 80s, and it's just become higher and higher and higher, which has pushed our food production of animal products over and over. The RDA suggests that an 8 to 10% protein of your daily diet is what you need to survive and to be healthy. And the wonderful thing is that a plant-based diet easily, without even trying, you can easily get 8 to 10% protein in every single day. Even bodybuilders, there are so many more vegan bodybuilders coming out today having their protein come from sources that are plants. There is a way to do this. So if you are an athlete and you're concerned about that, there are so many wonderful people out there who have great information on how to supplement your training and your exercise and your weightlifting in order to be strong and healthy at the same time. There is no such thing as protein deficiency unless you are starving to death. You know, people may tell you, be careful because you don't want to be protein deficient now that you're a vegan, or may give you a hard time about it. But the only time you're going to be deficient in protein is if you're actually starving to death. So if you're in an area where you're not eating any food at all, or very, very tiny amounts of food, you're probably not going to get enough protein. If you're eating a nutrient-rich diet of whole foods and you're plant-based completely, you're going to be getting more than enough protein, nutrients, vitamins, and minerals that you need every single day. Now, I'm just going to touch on this because I've talked about this a little bit in the beginning of this video, and I've talked about it in a couple other videos. Eating a plant-based diet is a surefire way to reverse health conditions. So I'm talking cancer, I'm talking diabetes, type 1 and type 2, it's very helpful for heart disease. All of these three diseases have been shown to have massive improvements when switching to a plant-based diet. Now, there's other diseases besides those three, of course, but I know that a plant-based diet will really help any disease that you've got going on. There's research out there, it's not just my personal opinion. Nutrition can either speed up disease or start to slow down the process of disease. With proper nutrition, you can truly heal yourself. And for me, that's something that I find so absolutely wonderful about eating a vegan diet. It's why I feel most passionate about a vegan diet and vegan lifestyle for basically everyone. I know everybody's not there yet, and I'm totally fine with that. I'm not trying to push my agenda on anyone. I'm never trying to be one of those vegans who is holier than thou and just saying, go vegan or you're going to hell. I'm not like that. I get it. Everybody's where they are, but if you can add more fruits and vegetables into your diet, you know, just start to make subtle changes. Subtle changes to me stick. There are people who can do it overnight, and that's awesome and wonderful, but that may not work for everyone. I'm very passionate about helping people find recipes that are not only tasty, but that they really do contribute to health. It's a huge passion of mine. I love making food for people. I love to create different recipes and share them with you guys here on YouTube because I know that I'm helping people find new ways to find health in their everyday life. I think that it's a lot easier than people think. And so for me, that's part of the reason that I have this channel. And the last thing I want to talk about as far as being vegan is the animal cruelty that goes into all of the food production that is so normal today, we wouldn't even know. There's a saying by Paul McCartney that says, if slaughterhouses had glass walls, everybody would be a vegetarian. And it's true, because I think the majority of people do not realize what goes into their food. You know, we're so displaced. We go to a grocery store and we pick up eggs and meat from the freezer section or the refrigerated area. It's packaged in plastic. We're very disconnected from where that happens. Back in the day when you had your own farm and you were killing a cow, you were not killing a cow at such a rate that's being done today. A typical family would not have so much protein. They would maybe have a small piece of meat once a month, a few times a year. This is not what was meant to be ever. People are cramming in animal products 3 to 5 times a day and our bodies cannot handle it. And a byproduct of doing that, not only for our health, is all of the poor animals that are in these awful conditions. I don't want to get into this too much because I know there's a lot of this out there, but the animals that are enslaved in factory farming do not have a good life in any sense of the way, no matter what the front of the milk carton says or the happy little cows in a field pictured on your piece of meat. It is not that way. There is so much out there that you can research and see the truth. Earthlings is a phenomenal movie, extremely difficult to watch, but really eye-opening. There's these little things, if you follow me on Instagram, I recently put one up about bacon that are going around on social media. It quickly does like bacon in reverse, gummy bears in reverse, and you see where these things are coming from. It really helps you see the connection between what is actually happening and the food that you pick up in your groceries. Another area where animals are being mistreated is in the cosmetic area. It's highly open range for cosmetics and body care products that these animals are being tortured, tested on. And so that is something else that was really important to me to find an alternative to, and why another reason I wanted to open this channel. What can I do as one single person? How can I make a difference? You can make a difference by changing to a vegan diet, to a plant-based diet. You are hugely impacting your choice, the choice of those around you, and you're also influencing people. When you choose to become a vegan or choose to go plant-based, people will look and say, what's different about you? Why are you doing this? And you don't have to be preachy. You live by your example and people will notice. You will maybe lose weight, your skin will clear up, you won't be constipated, you will feel good because you're purchasing things that are ethically sustainable, helping the environment, and it's just a great way to be, in my opinion. And if you don't agree with me, that's fine. This is not to spread hate. All of my lovely viewers, some of you are vegan, some of you are not, and that's totally okay. We're all where we are. But if we all make healthy choices and lean towards more of a plant-based lifestyle, everybody's gonna benefit. You benefit, I benefit, the animals benefit, the environment benefits. So those are my reasons for being vegan. I actually have something that I'm working on that I wanna share with you guys. It's coming up soon, but I'm gonna keep my mouth shut until it's all ready for you, but I'm super excited. And let's talk down below. You know, I always encourage conversation, but we don't wanna be hateful to each other. There's really no reason. We're all just people and we're all in different places in life. So let's be loving to each other and let's talk about it down below. If you have Netflix, there are so many documentaries available for you to educate yourself. And also you can just find them anywhere on the internet. Okay, so thank you guys so much for watching. Please subscribe if you're not already, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.